Hi, everyone. Welcome to our show. My name is Becky, and I'm joined here with my husband, Jeff Davis, with Semper Gumby Construction. So what else do you offer other than just the decks?
Yeah, so a basic deck would include the framing and the deck surface. Now, not every deck needs rails. Not every deck needs stairs. But if you are having those, you probably have open spaces now under your deck. So we would call that from the deck surface to the ground would be skirting.
Skirting.
Could be done in wood or composite, even if your deck is not one of those.
Do you still work with lattice if someone wants it?
We still work with lattice. It's not a typical thing that we use very regularly, just because the cost for lattice and the cost for solid skirting is so close. That you can actually get full large critter prevention.
You
don't
get that
have to worry about
upgrade.
your dog or your cat getting stuck underneath the deck if you fully can close it in. And plus it makes that whole edge feel much more finished. That when you can sit on the edge of your deck where there is no railing, because maybe it's only 2 or 3 feet tall, and you can dangle your legs and you don't have to worry about something coming out from under the deck and grabbing your ankles.
No clowns under the deck.
No clowns under the deck, no snakes coming out, no little kids, falling through things.
Or getting stuck.
And then in addition to that, once you have what's on top of the deck, we could have built-in benches or a pergola. We've even done miniature pergolas that are just big enough to have a porch swing built in.
Oh, nice.
So there's a lot of creativity that can happen there, and looking at the layout of where's the house, where's the roof line, or maybe this is a deck that's not even touching somebody's house. It's just out in the yard or overlooking the ravine. So a lot of flexibility and creative choices there.
Is there anything that you won't build?
Something unsafe.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
You got to have I like to tell people there's no right or wrong way to build a deck as long as you're building it safely. A lot of the creative choices, the type of materials, the spans that you have, how thick are your beams and joists and how far apart your posts are, those change how things look when you can see all of that underneath. But when it's all skirted in, as long as you're built to codes, according to the Michigan building law, everything that's underneath doesn't really matter if you can't see it. So you don't need to go with oversized timbers and long beams if you can just put a couple extra posts in, because it's just a yard. It's things get tricky when they're on a ravine, and that's when it's not possible to put a deck there. Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
So what kind of customizations have you had lately that were a little bit different, like not your normal request?
Not our normal request. Odd-shaped houses.
Okay.
Not all walls are plumb and square. For those that don't know, plumb and square.
Okay.
So if you don't have a 90-degree angle, but your deck wraps around the corner of a house, do you make the deck perfect, or do you make the deck match the house? Well, that might depend on how big your scale is. If you're just making a little walkway, we just had a project with someone that they wanted just 4 foot around the edge of their house and turning the corner. That way they could connect 2 decks that are already there.
Oh, wow.
So you don't want to go down the stairs from deck A and then go through the yard and then come up the stairs. They just want a little 4 foot walkway, goes around the house. So that you're dictating size of the existing structure to match your 4 foot walkway.
Sure.
It doesn't matter if the walkway itself is 100% square to itself. It's got to match the walls of the house. Other fun things is when there's already an existing cement slab or a patio, or if they've got a septic tank or an access point in a weird spot. Now you have to, account for some trap doors, or strategic placement of where all the posts go down into the ground, so you're not impacting what's below the surface. So knowing what's there, calling Miss Dig and finding out if there's buried power and other utilities is always a good thing to know. It's technically required.
Oh, okay.
So no shortcuts there, everyone. But it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process. It's just, here's the goal. And that's where dialogue comes in. If someone wants to be hands-off and just hand me a list and say, build this, you hand me blueprints, we can do that. That blueprint might not meet what you wanted the space for. So if we can take the time to have some questions and back and forth, then we'll get you what actually would best benefit each customer.
So Jeffrey, I'm going to say thank you for your time and answering all the questions clearly and concisely. And we're going to go ahead and just sign off, and I'm looking forward to our next episode.
Awesome.